Should you wait for the iPhone 14? Is the 14 Pro really gonna be worth at least $1,000? Or is the iPhone 14 basically just a rebranded 13 and is setting up to be a major disappointment? As we always do here on the Apple Circle, let's break down the latest Apple leaks, news, and rumors that you need to know about, including the top 5 reasons you definitely need to wait for the iPhone 14, some really great features that are really worth waiting for, and also 5 reasons here that you should really skip the iPhone 14 and not give it a second thought. This is a really important year, and the last thing you want to do is make a very big mistake. We are just about 3 months away from this very special moment where the iPhone 14 is officially going to go from rumor to reality. It's officially going to be shown off. We get to finally see all the new features and finally to sort of enjoy our brand new shiny iPhone, at least for a few days until we get bored and start focusing on the rumors for the iPhone 15. Just kidding. No, not really. But according to all the rumors, leaks, and everything we know as of right now, what's really gonna change with the iPhone 14 series this year? Is it really gonna be worth upgrading to? Is the camera really gonna be that much better than the iPhone you've got right now? If you've got a specific iPhone question, you wanna know, should I upgrade or not? Drop a comment down below, let me know what phone you've got, the features most important to you, and I and the amazing Apple community will do our best to sort of help you out and give you some specific direction. But here in this video, I wanna give some general thoughts, some general reasoning, break down everything we know, and tell you 5 reasons why it's definitely worth waiting 3 more months for a brand new iPhone, and 5 reasons you shouldn't wait and get a new iPhone right now if you want it, or wait for something else that could be coming next year that could be way better. The first reason the iPhone 14 is definitely worth waiting for is the camera. The camera system is supposed to get significantly upgraded here, especially on the 14 Pro and Pro Max. And if you use your phone exclusively for taking all your photos, all your videos, maybe you're an influencer, content creator, or you just like taking a lot of nice photos on your iPhone, then you are definitely going to want to wait because the iPhone's camera is going to get way better on the 14 series, really in 3 big ways. The first is with the main camera on the iPhone 14 Pro series. It's finally going to jump, from 12 megapixels all the way up to a 48 megapixel main camera. This should give you better photos and videos all around. Hopefully they're sharper, they've got better contrast, better detail. Apple is rumored to be using pixel binning technology, so you're probably not gonna get 48 megapixel stills, but better, higher quality 12 megapixel stills that really can utilize all of that extra pixel magic to give you some really great looking photos and videos as well. I'm sure Apple will also tweak the smart HDR processing here and some other software stuff like ProRes video and stuff like that, but really the main camera is going to be the main attraction for the iPhone 14 Pro series, and if you take a lot of photos or videos on your iPhone, this might be a really big deal. Obviously, we haven't seen any photos or video images yet, but I'm optimistic this is gonna be a really substantial upgrade. Reason number 2 is a feature coming to all iPhone 14 models, and that is a pretty big upgrade coming to the selfie camera. Even though selfies never really took off like Apple probably thought they would, remember that weird feature from a few years ago? Everybody does love the selfie camera. People love taking selfies, photos, videos, and it's nice to see it getting some attention here on all iPhone 14 models. Not a drastic shift. Basically, it's going to allow more light in, so you should get a little bit more of a clearer, crisper image there, some better background blur, and also some better built-in autofocusing capabilities as well to give you just a better overall selfie camera. So some nice camera upgrades here coming to all 14 models, and specifically with the Pro. And also one final feature here that is important for some of you out there is with video. If you take a lot of video on your iPhone, I know I do, the video on this thing looks fantastic, might be getting even better on the 14 Pro series. There's a rumor we could have 8K video recording on the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now, the flip side of this, of course, is if you don't take a ton of photos on your iPhone, or even if you've just got a modern iPhone, like a 12, 13, even like the 11 series is still really good, and you just don't care about that stuff, then it's probably not worth upgrading to that alone. There are probably other factors involved in your decision. Also, if you're a fan of more optical zoom range on your iPhone, like you want 10x optical zoom, that is not coming this year. No real changes expected to come to the telephoto lens or the ultra wide lens, but that that could change next year with the iPhone 15, where 10x optical zoom is rumored to be coming and made official on the iPhone 15 Pro models. The second reason to wait for the iPhone 14, which I feel like is important for some of you guys, is if you just really hate the notch. If you've had the notch on your iPhone since the iPhone 10 back in 2017, and you absolutely hate that and want something different, then this is your year, because the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max are gonna have this new double hole punch system. It's still gonna give you a really great selfie camera, still gonna give you sort of the same power of Face ID as you know it, but it's going to look different and also give you a little bit more screen real estate here on your new Pro-end iPhone. Obviously, we don't know how Apple is going to utilize this extra screen real estate, if they're gonna do anything at all, but that will be coming just to the Pro iPhones this year. And speaking of screens, another change Apple is making just to the Pro-end iPhones this year is a new always-on display mode. Rumor has it that you're gonna be able to see some widget information at a glance, so maybe you'll be able to see the time and whatever sort of lock screen widgets you've got here will be viewable even if the phone is sort of in its quote-unquote off or standby mode in this always-on display mode. And these new iPhones, the Pro models, will be able to go down to a 1 Hz refresh rate, so it's gonna be really good on your battery and also be as efficient as possible, while also keeping the display always on if you choose to toggle that on. Which sort of nicely segues me to my second reason to not get the iPhone 14, or I guess not wait, is if you want a bigger redesign or if you're looking at the 14 model. So kind of two answers here. If you want a bigger redesign, this is not going to be the year. That iPhone 4 style redesign is not happening. These phones are basically gonna look really similar to the iPhone 13 from last year, minus the new double hole punch system on the Pros. But if you want a bigger redesign, that's not happening this year. Maybe next year with the iPhone 15, though it seems like every year we hear the next big redesign is coming next year, next year, next year. So we don't know when it's happening, but it's not going to look drastically different in terms of design here on the iPhone 14 models this year. Also, if you want an iPhone 14, just the regular 14 or the 14 Max, the design not only is going to remain basically unchanged, but again, it's really not gonna look different at all. The front and the back are gonna look basically the same. You're gonna have the exact same notch you've got on the 13, no ProMotion, no always on display, maybe some new colors, but in terms of design, this is basically gonna look on the surface exactly the same as last year's iPhone 13 and RIP iPhone 13 mini. And speaking of mini, reason number 4 to wait for the iPhone 14 is if you want a bigger iPhone display, but you don't want to shell out the money for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I know there are so many people out there who want a large, really nice, high quality display on their iPhone, but they don't need the Pro Max. They don't need the Pro features, ProRes video, 3 cameras, ProMotion. That's just expensive and unnecessary. And I know so many people who just want a large screen iPhone, minus all that stuff, at a cheaper price. Enter the iPhone 14 Max. That is going to be the answer to this problem for you guys, and you're gonna love this phone because it's gonna give you a really bright, vibrant, beautiful OLED 6.7-inch screen on this iPhone 14 Max, but it, like the name suggests, doesn't have the Pro features or the Pro price tag. Obviously, the success of this thing, I think, is gonna be really dependent on the price, because the iPhone 14 Pro Max is expected to be at least, what, $1099? So if they can bring in a 14 Max at like maybe $899, $999, $799, that'd be really nice to see. On the other hand, if you don't care about that, definitely skip the iPhone 14 because it's really nothing special. And also, particularly interesting here, is if you like the mini iPhone, well, you should skip the iPhone 14 and buy the iPhone 13 mini like right now, because the mini line is over for the foreseeable future. I don't think Apple's ever gonna bring this back, at least in the next like 5-ish years. So if you want a mini iPhone that isn't the compromised iPhone SE, then this is the one to go with. This has the OLED display, it has Face ID, it's got 2 cameras, it's got that flagship processor, it's got all the best benefits of the higher end iPhones at a more sort of higher end price, so to speak. Next up, reason number 4 to wait for the iPhone 14 series is if you want the newer higher end processor. This is a little more niche, but I know that there are some of you guys out there who really live on your phone. Maybe you make your living taking photos and videos and editing stuff on this phone. Maybe you're a TikToker, maybe you do whatever the case may be. Maybe you do YouTube videos and you edit them on your phone. Obviously the camera is a big deal, but also the processor is a big deal too. And when speed is of the essence and you want something as fast and efficient as possible, having the new processor might just be worth the cost of a new phone. And I guess in contrast to that, one reason you should definitely just skip the iPhone 14 is if the phone you've got now is fine. I feel like a lot of people really don't care about the speed of their phone or their phone's fast enough. They don't care about what processor's in there. If your phone has good battery life and it's fast and you don't notice any issues, there's really no reason to upgrade to the 14. If the camera is just not wowing you, if you don't care about that bigger screen, you don't care about that pro stuff, if you're happy with the iPhone you've got right now, certainly just wait this one out, because there are some good big features in here for some people, but for others, it's just not worth it unless you're really tempted by something, you have some crazy incentive to trade in, probably just worth skipping. And the processor is gonna be obviously better and faster and more efficient, but if your phone is still flying through things and running just fine, then by all means, skip the 14, you will not be disappointed. And here we go, reason number 5 you should wait for the iPhone 14 series is if you are an outdoorsman, maybe you're a fisherman, you're an avid hiker, someone who likes to explore the world, and you want the peace of mind of a satellite phone. You want to be able to send a text or make a call with the power of satellites orbiting us around the Earth. And if you like that feature, you have a satellite phone and you want to get rid of it, the rumored satellite connectivity coming to the iPhone 14 series might just be a really big deal and reason alone to get you to upgrade to a brand new iPhone. But as of what we know right now, it seems like this new sort of emergency satellite connectivity feature is going to be built into every iPhone 14 model. And if you really get outdoors and maybe you've got a satellite phone now and you don't want the bulk or just that peace of mind knowing that you could be essentially virtually anywhere in the world and make a call as long as you can get satellite connection, is really nice to have and might just be worth upgrading to the 14. Again, not for everybody, but this is a really big feature that finally should be coming that I know for many of you guys watching this video will be a really big deal and a substantial feature. And my final reason here to skip the iPhone 14 series this year is if you're on the hunt for a discounted iPhone, because there are a couple of different things at play here. One is that if you don't care about any of these features, skip the 14 and wait for the 15, though you're sort of taking your chances on what will change next year or not. But if you're on the hunt for a discount, then this might be a good time to pick up a really good condition iPhone for a pretty reasonable price. Because what always happens is that the iPhone is gonna be released, the 14 this year, and the market is gonna be flooded with a bunch of 12s and 13s for sure, and maybe even some 11s as well. So if you don't care about the iPhone 14, you might just wanna skip it and see if you can find a really good price for a not so used iPhone. I'm sure many people out there are so obsessed with the newest iPhone, they will just list their phone for basically anything and just try to offload this so they can get their newest thing. Even I've seen some really good deals for like a couple $100, and I'm sure that's gonna be the case if you do a little digging this year, especially with those with the 13 series and even the 12s as well. All right, guys, now I've got a couple questions for you. Are you going to upgrade to the iPhone 14 this year? Yes or no? And why? Is there a specific feature that is really enticing to you? Do you really want that new camera? Or why aren't you upgrading? And also, regardless of which way you're gonna go, what phone do you have right now? If you're upgrading the iPhone 14, do you have a 13 right now? Do you have a 13 Pro? Do you've got like an old 10 or maybe an 8 or a 7? And if you're not upgrading, what iPhone or Android phone do you have right now? And why aren't you making the move? Let me know your thoughts, all this stuff down below. And if you think the iPhone 14 is looking to be really exciting or a little bit disappointing, let me know your thoughts. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.